Growing your email list is the best thing that you can do to ensure you have a successful launch, because you can have the best, most amazing course out there with a brilliant transformation, but if you don't have an audience, you don't have eyeballs on your offer, then you're not going to get any sales. You have to have an audience, and you have to be working on building that audience as you start to create your course. If you missed back in episode 8 where I talked about why email lists are so important, head back to that episode and listen, because it really explains why email marketing is the number one secret to online course success. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you, okay, you have your email list started. You have hopefully set up the tech. Again, I talk about that back in episode 8. But how do you actually get people on your list? Like, how do you grow it? So in this episode, I will be telling you 3 strategies that you can use that don't involve ads and don't involve posting on your own social media every day, but allow you to build your email list with the right people. All right, so the first tip I have for you, the first strategy, is to request to be on podcasts. Podcasts are huge right now. There are so many great ones out there, and there's most likely a podcast in your niche or closely related to your niche where you can hop on there and chat about your business, give valuable information, and then usually at the end, most podcasts hosts will allow you to share a freebie, and that's where you can share your lead magnet. And I know what you're already thinking. I don't have a course yet, so I'm not ready. If you have a lead magnet, which again, I talked about back in episode 8, then you are ready to start being on podcasts and start putting yourself out there. Start establishing yourself as an expert in your area. Now, you don't have to start your own podcast. You totally can, but I am, 5 years in, and I just started a podcast. So you definitely don't have to start your own, but allow yourself to be on and used by other people's platforms, because it's a mutually beneficial relationship. They are getting important, useful information from you to give to their audience. And then you in turn are getting to borrow their audience and potentially grow your list. So how do you find podcasts? Well, my favorite way is Facebook groups. There are so many Facebook groups that are specifically for getting podcasts guests and being guests on a podcast. So podcast hosts will be in this group, and then people that want to be on podcasts will be in this group. And you can join these groups. I'll give you the name of one right now. It's called Podcast Guest Collaboration Community. Podcast Guest Collaboration Community. And then it says find a guest, be a guest. But there are tons. If you just search on Facebook groups, podcast guest, there are lots. I joined this one because it has 55,000 members. So I knew there was going to be a good chance I could find someone to be on their podcast. And you can use the search feature within the group and search for your niche. You can make your own posts and say, hey, this is who I am. This is who I serve and how I can help. These are the topics that I can talk about. I would love to be on your podcast. Please reach out to me and then give your contact information. I have gotten on probably 5 or more podcasts just from this method. And I don't really use it that often, but it's a great method especially if you're doing it consistently. It's a great way to really get your name out there, start establishing yourself as an expert, and growing your list. All right, so that is my first strategy. Be a guest on podcasts. All right, strategy number 2 is to join Facebook groups that are specific either to your niche or your audience. So what I mean is, let's say that your niche is baking. You could join baking Facebook groups. Let's say that your niche is teaching moms how to bake. You could also join moms Facebook groups. So it could be niche related, audience related. Join a bunch and make a list of them. I organize my entire life with Airtable. If you've never heard of Airtable, check it out. It's like a robust, prettier Google Sheets, basically. It is free, and I don't know, it just makes my life so much easier and happier. Maybe I'll do an episode on Airtable, but start tracking the groups that you're in Airtable, and start tracking have you posted in that group or not? So what you're going to do is you're going to find as many groups as possible to join. You're going to read the rules of the group, because a lot of groups, especially nowadays, have no self-promotion. And if that's the case, you want to follow their rules and you want to be respectful of that person's group, especially if you can tell it's a group that was started by someone who has a business and that Facebook group is part of their business strategy. So it's their group and they are allowing people in and then they're going to market to people in that group. Then you don't want to come in and like step on their toes and say, hey, well, here's my course, even though this is someone else's group. So be careful of that. But some groups are just general. Like I'm in a lot of local moms groups. They weren't started by business. They were just started by moms. And you could potentially, first of all, do market research in those groups, but also potentially get some leads. So what you're going to do is once you read the group rules, then you can use the search feature in the group. So every Facebook group, I like to do this on a desktop, but they have a little search bar within the group. And you can search for phrases within that group. So you can search for the phrase, I need help with, or please help, or what is the, and see what people are asking. This is actually a really great way to figure out what your lead magnet could be if you don't have a lead magnet. If you already have a lead magnet, you can search for questions specifically related to your lead magnet. So let's say that you have a sourdough baking guide. Then you could search for, I need help with sourdough, or just sourdough, and see what questions people are asking. So if this is a group that doesn't allow self-promotion, then what you could do is you could find where people are asking about something related to your lead magnet. So, how do I feed my sourdough starter? Then you, as an expert in this area, could type a response to them that's really detailed and really helpful. And then maybe that gets the conversation started. You start establishing yourself as an expert, a sourdough expert in that group. You can even say, I have actually just started a business where I'm helping people bake sourdough bread. If you want to check me out on Instagram, here's my handle. And to me, that wouldn't really be self-promo. You're not dropping a link. You're just sharing how they can learn more from you. Now, I know that's a little bit of a gray area, so if you wanted to reach out to the admin and ask if that's okay, or if you just wanted to try it, listen, when you're doing this strategy with Facebook groups, there is a potential that you'll get kicked out of the group because some people might not have clear rules. So maybe they don't have any rules, but you get kicked out and you're like, I didn't violate a rule. It's okay. It's their group. They can do what they want to. I don't want you to sweat that. But I also want you to try to the best of your ability to follow the rules. You don't want to just step on people's toes. So you could start giving valuable answers to questions. Now, if this group does allow self-promo or there's no rule about it, then you can make your own post within the group. And you can just say something like, hey, my name is whatever your name is. You can tell them what your niche is. And you can tell them you're just getting started. You don't really have anything to sell yet, but you're just trying to get your feet wet. So here's an example of what you could post. So, hey mamas, I'm Maria. I just started a new venture helping parents of preschoolers with engaging activities at home. So she could post this in like a mom's Facebook group. As a mom of two, I know how hard it can be to do all the things while also trying to engage and educate your young child. My mission is to make your life easier. So I created 7 days of activities that I'd love to give away for free. No strings attached. I have nothing to sell yet. Of course, if you do have something to sell, don't say that. You want to maintain integrity. Don't lie, please. And then you can say, you can grab it here. These activities have been a game changer for my own kids, and I hope it can help you too. So she would be advertising her lead magnet. This is a freebie. There really are no strings attached. She's just trying to grow her list. And a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, you're new. I want to support you. Let me download this freebie. So I have seen great success with this strategy, with the Facebook group strategy with my members. I'm talking like 500 leads in a week. It's bananas. It's just, you got to find the right group. You got to try a bunch of different groups, and you can't get discouraged if you get kicked out because you are trying to follow the rules. And if someone doesn't clearly post the rules of the group, that's not on you. You're doing the best you can. It is what it is. Move on. So that is strategy number 2. Get inside some Facebook groups and answer questions, establish yourself as an expert, and then make your own post. All right. And then my last strategy for growing your email list is something called a lead magnet bundle. So what this is, you find people in related niches. You most likely don't want to find people in your exact niche because then you're going to be competition, but related niches. So back to the baking example. Let's say you're teaching moms how to bake. Maybe you join up with people who are teaching moms how to do other kind of skills like homesteading or gluten-free cooking, or even teaching your preschooler at home. They all have the same audience. So while they're not competing with each other, the same person would want to download multiple lead magnets. So what you would do is you would find people. I usually find these people on Instagram. So I will find people on Instagram. I'll start making, relationships with them, start establishing a relationship through the DMs or commenting. And then I'll say, hey, I want to do a lead magnet bundle. And I will set this up, but I was wondering if you would like to contribute your lead magnet and advertise. And you may get some no's, that's okay. But if you can find 5 to 10 people who will contribute to this bundle, that's great. I wouldn't do more than 10 because then it gets overwhelming for you, and it gets overwhelming for someone who is trying to download more than 10 freebies. Like, that's a lot of freebies. And just because something is free doesn't mean people want it. I just wanted to say that. Just because something is free doesn't mean people want it. There's tons of free stuff right now, so you got to still make it irresistible. So what you would do is, the tech part is you would set up a landing page inside your email service provider, and you would set it up so that when someone enters their name and email, they get an email with all 10 lead magnets. So you could zip them together in a file. You could put them in a Google Drive folder, whatever is easiest, but they would be delivered all 10 lead magnets. And the beauty of this is, when you start advertising this bundle, first of all, you want the bundle to only be available for a certain amount of time because that gives people urgency to sign up. If it's available forever, people are going to forget. So you're going to have this promotional period, this kind of launch period of this lead magnet bundle, and maybe it's like a week. And while that promotion period is going on, everyone who is participating in the lead magnet bundle will be advertising to their audience, to their email list and social media and whatever, podcast, YouTube, whatever they have. So you are getting your lead magnet in front of other people's audiences. And another great thing about this is you will put a disclaimer on the page that when they sign up for this lead magnet, they agree to receive emails from however many people are in the bundle. That's another reason why you don't want too many. I actually like even smaller ones, like around 5 to 7, so that they are consenting to receive emails from all of you. And you can tag them in your email service provider. And at the end of the promotional period, you can download everyone who has that tag and send them to everyone who participated. So they are all growing their list, and you're growing your list at the same time. So lead magnet bundles are another amazing way to grow your list. So just to recap, you can ask to be on other people's podcasts, use Facebook groups to find podcast hosts who are looking for guests. You can join niche-related and or audience-related Facebook groups and start establishing yourself as an expert with really helpful comments and even making your own post. And then lastly, you can put together a lead magnet bundle with 5 to 7 people in related niches, and you can get in front of their audience, and they can also get in front of your audience while sharing a lot of valuable lead magnets with all of these new people. All right, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you will try at least one of these. If you do, will you shoot me a message on Instagram at meet.the.bowdens? I would love to hear how it went for you.